They say a mother's love has no limits. I used to believe that. I used to believe it so hard I nearly lost everything, my house, my savings, my dignity because of it. My name is Linda Harrison. I'm 63 years old and I live in the same little blue craftsman bungalow on Maple Street in Oakwood, Illinois, that I bought with my late husband Mark 37 years ago. This is the house where I rocked my only child to sleep, where I cried the night cancer took Mark when Emily was only 9, where I worked double shifts at the hospital and weekend cleaning jobs so she could have braces, dance lessons and a debt-free college degree. This is the house she tried to take from me 8 months after she married a man who had never once shaken my hand. And this is the story of the day I finally said, enough. It started with a Facebook notification. I was sitting at the kitchen table, same chair I've had since 1998, sipping Folgers from the chipped World's Best Mom mug Emily painted for me in 3rd grade. I opened the app the way I do every morning, hoping for a picture of my daughter. Instead I saw one of her. In a bridal boutique mirror. Veil on, smile wide, diamond flashing on her left hand. Caption read. Said yes to forever with my soulmate red heart, ring #Mrs. Thompson coming soon. My coffee went cold in my mouth. She was engaged and I found out from a stranger's, like. I sat there staring at the screen until it went black, then white again when I tapped it awake. I told myself, oh Linda, she's excited. She'll call tonight. She'll want to tell you herself. She didn't call that night. Or the next. Or the 23 after that. I sent texts that turned bluer by the day. Sweetheart, saw your beautiful news. Call me when you can. Honey, I'm so happy for you. When can we celebrate? Emily, please just let me know you're okay. Delivered. Never read. Then came the envelope. Cream-colored, heavy cardstock, the kind that costs $5 a piece. My heart actually leapt. Finally. The invitation. I carried it to the porch swing like it was made of glass. I opened it with shaking fingers. Dear Mom, Daniel and I have decided to keep the wedding intimate and stress-free. We will not be extending invitations to extended family at this time. Please respect our decision. This is final. Love, Emily and Daniel. I read it 4 times before the words made sense. Extended family. That was me. I was extended family now. I learned the rest from my neighbor Diane, who heard it from her cousin who catered the wedding. 168 guests. Daniel's entire family flew in from California. Emily's college roommates were bridesmaids. The only person missing was the woman who gave her life. The wedding was on a Saturday in June. I spent the day on my knees in the garden, pulling weeds that weren't there, trying not to picture her walking down the aisle without me. I left my phone inside so I wouldn't be tempted to drunk text her at the reception. I drank iced tea instead. Months passed. I told myself I was healing. I joined a grief group at church even though the person I was grieving was still alive. Then on a rainy Tuesday in February, a black Audi I didn't recognize pulled into my driveway. Emily stepped out first. She was thinner. Hair straightened, designer coat, the kind of expensive that tries not to look expensive. Daniel followed, carrying a leather folder like he was about to close a business deal. My stomach dropped so hard I felt it in my ankles. Emily hugged me like nothing had happened. Hi, Mom. As if 8 months of silence could be erased with 2 words and a squeeze. We sat in my living room, same floral couch Mark and I picked out in '99. Daniel didn't sit. He stood by the fireplace, surveying the room like he was already mentally measuring for new flooring. Emily cleared her throat. Mom, Daniel and I are expecting. For one heartbeat the world stopped. A grandchild. My hand went to my chest. That's wonderful, honey. He kept talking over me. We want to start our family in a real home. Not some cramped apartment. This house is perfect. For bedrooms, big yard, great schools. Exactly what our baby deserves. Daniel finally spoke, voice smooth as a car salesman. What Emily's trying to say is you're on a fixed income now. You don't need all this space. We could take it off your hands. You could move somewhere smaller, maintenance-free. Maybe that new senior community off Route 30. We've looked into it. You'd love it. I stared at them. The rain drummed against the windows. My pulse pounded so loud I was sure they could hear it. Let me make sure I understand, I said slowly. You didn't invite me to your wedding. You cut me out of your life for almost a year. And now you're here asking me to sign over the house I paid for with 35 years of blood and sweat because it would be convenient for you? Emily rolled her eyes, actually rolled them. Mom, don't be dramatic. You've had this house forever. You've had your life. It's our turn now. I felt something inside me snap, clean like a bone that had been cracked for years finally giving way. That night I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table with a legal pad and wrote down every memory this house held. Mark proposing on the front steps. Emily's first steps in the hallway. The Christmas morning she got her first bicycle. The night we brought Mark home from the hospital to die in his own bed. Every wall, every creak in the floorboards, every scratch on the banister was a chapter of my life. And they wanted to erase it because it was their turn. The next morning I called Margaret O'Connell, my attorney and Mark's old fishing buddy's wife. I told her everything. She listened without interrupting, then said, "Linda, do you want to protect this house? More than anything. Then let's make sure no one can ever take it from you again." 2 weeks later Emily texted, "Can we come by Saturday to talk numbers? Daniel found a realtor who can give you top dollar if you sell to us privately." I replied with 4 words. "Come at 2. They arrived in the Audi again, this time with printed spreadsheets. Daniel launched into his pitch before he even sat down. "We're prepared to be very generous, Linda. Market value is $438,000. We can do $450 cash quick close. You'll never have to worry about taxes or upkeep again." I let him finish. Then I slid a manila folder across the coffee table. Inside was the new will, signed, notarized, unbreakable. Page 1 read, "I, Linda Marie Harrison, being of sound mind, do hereby bequeath my primary residence at 214 Maple Street, Oakwood, Illinois, in its entirety to the Oakwood Single Mothers Housing Foundation, to be converted into transitional housing for widowed or abandoned mothers and their children. This bequest is irrevocable." Emily's face went white. Daniel actually laughed like it was a joke. "You're bluffing. Call Margaret O'Connell and ask her yourself," I said. "She drafted it. There's a no contest clause. If anyone fights it, they get $1. That's you, Emily. $1. Emily started crying angry tears. "You'd rather give our family home to strangers than your own grandchild?" "This isn't about your baby," I said, and my voice didn't even shake. "This is about respect. About gratitude. About recognizing that a house isn't just square footage. It's a life. One you decided was over the moment it became inconvenient." Daniel grabbed her arm. "Let's go. She's lost her mind." Emily yanked away from him. "Mom, please. We're family. You stopped being my family the day you decided I was disposable." They left, tires squealing. I locked the door behind them, leaned against it, and for the first time in almost a year I felt something stronger than pain. Peace. 6 months later the foundation took possession. They're turning the downstairs into 2 apartments and keeping my upstairs bedroom as a memorial space. Photos of Mark, Emily's old report cards, the mug she painted. They asked if I wanted to move into one of the units rent-free for life. I said yes. I still wake up every morning in the same house, but now I fall asleep knowing no one can ever take it from the women who need it most. Women like I once was. Emily had the baby in September. The little girl. She sent me a birth announcement, no return address. I wrote congratulations on a blank card and mailed it to their apartment. Nothing more. Sometimes late at night I sit on the porch swing and look at the stars. I think about the empty chair at her wedding. I think about the day she stood in my living room and told me my life was over. And I whisper to the dark, "No, sweetheart. My life didn't end. It just stopped including you." And that, Reddit, is the story of how I kept my house. And finally, after 34 years of giving everything to one person, learned how to give something to myself.